Chick Fil A is absolutely dominating the competition. Famous for their humble chicken sandwich and wholesome family values, Chick Fil A is currently the nation's third largest fast food chain by sales. In 2023 alone, they raked in over $21 billion. But the craziest part is, their sales numbers haven't stopped growing since their first standalone restaurant opened in the 1960s. And with 1/5 the amount of locations as sales leaders McDonald's and Starbucks, and with only 6 days a week of operation, how is Chick Fil A's success even possible? It seems that in the process of creating a knockout chicken sandwich recipe in the 60s, Chick Fil A's founder S. Truett Cathy also cooked up a recipe for explosive financial success. Let's take a closer look at the ingredients that turned a small Georgia chicken shop into a nationwide craving. The story of Chick Fil A begins in 1946, when Samuel Truett Cathy opened his first restaurant, the Dwarf Grill, in Hapeville, Georgia. But at the time, Cathy wasn't thinking about building a national fast food empire. He just wanted to serve great food to his community. With only $10,600, Cathy and his brother opened the Dwarf Grill in May of 1946. Including the kitchen, the place itself was only 50 by 150 feet. But despite its size, the Dwarf Grill was crucial to the success of Chick Fil A today, because this is where Cathy developed some of his most important business philosophies. Early on, Cathy had to learn how to do a lot with a little. For example, in order to finish building their restaurant on time for opening day, the brothers had to use scrap lumber. This was because World War II, which had just ended, had created an array of supply issues for businesses. Adapting to this ultra-scarce environment took time, but it was worth it. On their first day, the Dwarf Grill made $58. Adjusted for inflation, that's about $1,000 today. All things considered, an amazing start. Cathy noticed that most of their customers came from the nearby Ford plant and from the Atlanta airport. He also noticed that many of these people looked like repeat customers. In his book, It's Easier to Succeed Than Fail, Cathy says, "It's better to maintain your present customers than to spend a lot of time and expense replacing them with new ones." It was also here at the Dwarf Grill that Cathy began experimenting with the recipe that would eventually define Chick Fil A. He had a simple but innovative idea, a boneless chicken breast sandwich. This was a game changer at the time, as most fast food was focused on hamburgers. But it was in 1961 when he struck gold. Determined to make chicken a viable fast food item, Cathy finally got his big break. He found a pressure cooker that could cook a chicken sandwich in the same amount of time it took to cook a hamburger. He'd fry up a chicken breast with a number of spices and serve it to customers on a bun, which as an added bonus helped customers avoid getting grease on their fingers. This was the prototype for the Chick Fil A sandwich, and as soon as Cathy began serving it at the Dwarf Grill, it began outselling their hamburgers. When it came time to name the sandwich, and ultimately the company, Cathy's attorney told him he could use ordinary words as long as he misspelled them. So he smashed together the words chicken and filet and got Chick Fil A meaning first or best. The following year in 1964, Cathy incorporated the company, and for the first few years of business, Chick Fil A sold their sandwich to other restaurants as opposed to opening restaurants of their own. But as time wore on, Cathy became more and more wary of a large chain copying their product and effectively putting them out of business. So he decided to make the jump from selling licensed products to opening Chick Fil A restaurants. In 1967, Cathy opened the first Chick Fil A inside a mall in Atlanta. Unlike other fast food chains, Cathy didn't just want to serve food quickly, he wanted to create a dining experience that focused on quality, service, and customer satisfaction. At the time, most fast food chains were focused on high-volume, low-quality meals, but Cathy's vision for Chick Fil A was different. He wanted to serve fresh, high-quality chicken sandwiches and was determined to do it with excellence. One of Cathy's beliefs was that the customer experience was just as important as the food itself. He focused on providing friendly, personalized service, a strategy that would later become a hallmark of the Chick Fil A brand. Chick Fil A didn't have an easy road to success. In fact, they faced several challenges in their early years. Cathy's decision to sell only chicken sandwiches and other chicken-based items in a fast food world dominated by hamburgers was considered risky. Many believed that the concept would fail, but Cathy stuck to his guns. By the late 1960s, Chick Fil A was growing steadily, even though it was still confined to the mall food court model. The turning point came in the 1980s, when Cathy made a bold decision to focus exclusively on franchising the restaurant model. Instead of expanding the company-owned stores, Kathy chose to sell franchises. This decision helped Chick Fil A scale quickly while maintaining high standards of service and food quality. So what exactly made Chick Fil A so successful? There are a few key factors that have helped them rise to the top of the fast food industry. First and foremost, it's the food. By focusing on quality ingredients and perfecting the recipe, Chick Fil A has built a loyal customer base around a chicken sandwich. Chick Fil A is known for its exceptional customer service. Employees aren't just serving food, they're creating an experience. And that's not by accident. Kathy instilled a culture of customer-first thinking from day one. Also, the famous "my pleasure" isn't just a catchphrase, it's a reflection of the company's commitment to making every customer feel valued. In an industry where service is often impersonal, Chick Fil A's focus on warmth and hospitality makes all the difference. One of Chick Fil A's most unique business decisions is its choice to close every Sunday. While this might seem counterproductive for a fast food chain, it's become a core part of their identity. The decision to close on Sundays was rooted in Kathy's faith and his desire to give employees a day to rest and spend time with family. It also created a sense of scarcity. When people can't have something, they want it more. And surprisingly, it's worked in their favor. By limiting availability, Chick Fil A builds anticipation for the rest of the week, leading to even higher demand on the days they are open. A lesser known but crucial reason for Chick Fil A's success is how they handle their franchises. Unlike most companies, they fund all their new locations with profits instead of getting into debt. And to become a Chick Fil A franchisee, it's almost impossible. You have a better chance of getting accepted to Harvard than becoming a Chick Fil A operator. This strict selection process helps them find the best and brightest to run their stores. Based on the principles S. Truett Cathy put in place, it's clear Chick Fil A is going to be around for a long time. Cathy says there are no business ethics, just personal ethics. And by applying and staying true to his personal ethics, he was able to create an airtight business model. From the beginning, he built the foundation of Chick Fil A with steel and concrete, and that's evident in how the restaurant operates today. It's one of the few places you can go where you're guaranteed excellent service. The employees treat you like friends and family and constantly tell you everything is their pleasure. It creates an amazing experience that only makes you want to come back. Pair that with their amazing food options, and you have a recipe for unstoppable success. Cathy passed away in 2014, but the company, run by his surviving family members, is still following his code of ethics to this day and are managing to come up with brilliant business models of their own. As long as Chick Fil A sticks with their current system, they're basically guaranteed growth. Few companies are in this great of a position, and it'll be interesting to see how they evolve. Where do you see Chick Fil A in the next 10 to 15 years? Do you think they'll keep growing, or do you think their success is going to slowly fizzle out? Let me know down in the comments below.